Welcome to Trading the Close on this Thursday, Baby Friday. I'm Toni Valliere with Verified Investing. And here's what's making headlines today. PCE data released today came in pretty much as expected. The Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge rose 0.3% in January from December. Jobless claims rise to the highest level in 3 weeks, up 13,000 to 215,000. Bath and Body Works beats earnings but has a disappointing 2024 outlook, expecting a decline in earnings this year. Shares of AMC were down after their fourth quarter results were released. The stock actually beat expectations, but not enough to satisfy Wall Street. Snowflake shares dropped down 20% following the CEO's retirement announcement, and both President Biden and former President Trump are expected to be at the U.S.-Mexico border today. One last mention, Congress moves to avert a government shutdown this weekend with a tally of 320 to 99. The House passed a 6-page bill to fully fund at least part of the government next week. All right, let's get a look at where things stand in the markets just before the closing bell. Wow, what a turnaround in just literally the last hour. Seeing a lot of green here. The Dow up 200 points, 0.52%. NASDAQ up 119 points, 0.75%. The S&P 500 up 44 points, 0.89%. We've got oil up 0.04%. Gold is up over $9, and we've got Bitcoin down $288 at this time. Chief Market Strategist Gareth Soloway joining me. I was prepared to talk about the markets being mixed, reacting to the PCE data, but not so much. What's happening right now?
Yeah, so we did start out higher, and we saw this kind of midday sell-off in the S&P. So here's your SPY chart, S&P 500. And what we can see here again is that we started out the day with a gap up. And the kicker here was just understanding that people were very nervous about this PCE data because of the CPI and PPI data previously that had come in well above expectations.
Because it's key inflation data that the feds really look at
and at this point, it's like okay, we're starting to see a few weak signs in the economy, but if you get in high inflation, the Fed can't cut like the market craves, right? It can't just lower interest rates willy-nilly. So it really was a key data point today. And honestly, it came in as expected, which kind of was a breath of like relief, right? It was like, okay, it wasn't that hot. I mean, it was kind of right where expectations were. So that started the day out higher. We then had this nice little sell-off, kind of interesting sell-off early, and then essentially you almost look at it like a faucet. The volume turned off right here, which means institutions kind of step to the sidelines, and then you just said, oh, okay, float up the rest of the day. And you can see that probably some short covering from day traders into the end of the day here has popped us up, and now we have a pretty solid gain on the day, as you mentioned. Now, just flipping over to the daily chart, I love showing this, and it's like, I almost feel like it's on repeat, but it's just that important. You have this trend line, this wedge pattern, and we just get tighter and tighter and tighter, right? So the last few days we were down ticking towards the bottom of the range. Now we've moved up a little bit, but we're still stuck in that. So the question is, when do we break in or out? I mean, you got to figure within a week or so. It can't get too much tighter before price goes one way or the other.
Okay.
Which way is it going to go? That's the big question.
But it is going to be narrowing, so
and
soon
it continues
enough.
to. I mean, look at how wide it was here, and then here it's just gotten tighter and tighter, and it's really remarkable. I mean, as a technician, you marvel at this stuff. How it just so happens that it just keeps touching, hitting, and here it even pierced, and right here, and then it still has held that line. And again, what this tells us, the longer this line goes back and the more time it hits, is it tells us that whichever way it breaks, it'll be a bigger move. So if you have a line here, right, and you've only hit here and here, and it breaks, it's generally a smaller breakdown. When you hammer on a level more and more times, right, you just do it over and over and over and over again and over again, when it breaks, it's like a big break. And by the way, it could do upside too, right? So we could break here and have a huge move to the upside. It just tells you something is coming. We don't know what it is, whether it's good or bad, but something is on the horizon. It's almost like that Jaws music, right? The Jaws music playing in the background.
Big build-up.
Yep, that's exactly
like a volcano.
what it is.
Okay. Yeah. And how often do you see this kind of pattern? Is it more typical with the S&P?
It's all charts. I mean, you can look at crypto,
really?
commodities,
Okay.
but it's somewhat rare to see it last this long.
Okay.
Like, this is somewhat rare. I don't think it's necessarily the S&P. It just happens to be the type of market we are in, that they're buyers. Basically, what you're seeing here is buyers are so willing to buy every little dip, right? They're just jumping back in.
Yep.
And that's, again, a program that essentially we've seen investors just start to buy every dip because it's been working. Can't blame them.
So far.
Yeah, so far it's been working.
We'll
Right.
see how long
Eventually
that
it won't.
lasts.
That's always the way it is, but we don't know when that'll be.
Exactly. A lot of big movers today. AMC, Snowflake, Pure Storage, Duolingo, Hormel, Shoals, C3.ai, and AMD as well. Which ones are you following?
Yeah, I was just bringing up AMC. It is down a little bit today. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say with AMC other than that, you know, it's a stock that was one of the meme stocks back a couple years ago. It had an incredible run, and then you could just see the ultimate result. It just kind of sinks back down.
This is Taylor Swift coming in. I think that green area
I think
right
you're
there,
right. That was the Eras
tour.
Yeah, the movie, right?
Yes.
But basically what this tells us is it's a warning for investors. And again, the good times will last for a long time. We don't know how long they'll last, where meme stocks can run and meme coins can run. But at some point, unless there's some fundamental reason why it can go higher, if there's nothing there, and here we just know losses beget losses. I mean, these theaters are just losing money. I mean, it's not.
Breaks my heart.
We all
I know.
watch.
We grew up with that.
It was movie night, Friday night, go to the movies type thing. Now it's Netflix and chill at home, right?
Exactly.
So
yep.
That's what it is. But yeah, interesting chart there.
And Uber Eats.
Yeah, exactly. AMD had a monstrous move today. This was the best performing semiconductor. Look at the size of that move. You don't see AMD up 9% very often. I'm not really sure the catalyst here, other than you did get bullish consolidation here, right? All this sideways consolidation leading to a breakout. But this outperformed NVIDIA, outperformed SMCI, a lot of the other semis, but it was a nice mover today as well. And let me just see, of course we got to touch on Bitcoin, right?
Yes, please.
So Bitcoin, again, had that amazing run to the upside here. You can see the consolidation. You can see the repeats of patterns. Patterns repeat over and over again. And what we saw here is you could see the move up and then sideways, and then the big move up, sideways, and the big move up. The only difference here is this last move has been what we call in the business, and this is stock world, every world, is this is kind of like the blow off top potentially. And what I mean by that is when you get such a dramatic, massive move, it lures in kind of everyone and it flushes out all the shorts. And if there's going to be a short-term top, this is probably the level. If we get through this 65 level, then honestly, I think we're going to 69 and maybe new all-time highs.
Okay.
So this is a big level after this surge. And again, one of the things we'll watch for is, so right now we have a small down day today on Bitcoin. Watch to see, does it go like this, which would be a replication of this and this, right? Or do we get a sharper move back down, which would be more bearish? If it does this, that's actually not a bad thing. As we can see right here, it wasn't a bad thing and it led to a move up. So as a technician, I'm just watching the next few days. How does it react? How does it absorb this massive move? Do we see this bullish consolidation, or does it have more of a reversal to it?
Sure. And then can I ask you to bring up Ethereum? I'm
Yes.
just curious to see where that is at right now as well.
Yeah,
last
and that's
I looked,
been
it was
amazing.
up.
That has been an amazing mover.
Quite a bit, yeah.
So I do have a line here. I'm not sure where I drew this. Oh, yeah, okay, here we go. So again, just looking at the trend line here, right? So bring this up. There's your Ethereum chart. And right here on Ethereum, what do we have? We have this pivot high right here. And then what we can see here is Ethereum essentially kissed that right there as well. And that's putting in a little bit of a short-term resistance point. And again, resistance, all it tells you is that there's sellers here that are seeing this level and they're dumping into it, whether it's new shorts coming on board or just people that bought up here and really were like freaking out when it came down.
Yeah.
They're finally being made whole. And that's why these levels become resistance, is because all of these people that bought over here, they were panicking. Okay, not so bad. Oh, not as bad again. You know, they're freaking out. And now finally, okay, and there's always going to be a percentage. Like, people like to think investors in crypto are all like buy and holds forever no matter what. But there's always, I mean, they say that, and then there's a group that they do want to take it off the
Some
table
profits.
because it was too much pain for them to go through this. And so
Okay.
that's what creates that little sell pressure right there. And that's where Ethereum is right here. If we get through here on Ethereum, again, 39, 4,000 is definitely a possibility. But I will say this, Ethereum is very, very, very overbought in the short term. Doesn't mean it can't go higher, but when you see this vertical move, this is even more vertical than what we've seen in Bitcoin, right? In terms of just the consistency. Like, look at how few red candles along the way of this move.
You're right.
So it's honestly just due for a pullback, and people don't have to freak out about that, right? Pullbacks are natural. It's natural, right? You run a marathon, you can say, okay, this was a marathon, just run. All right, so take a break. Go to bed, rest, eat, recover, and then you can always have your next move to the upside. That's how charts work, very much like humans do.
I love the analogy. All right, we come back on Monday.
Right.
What are you looking toward for tomorrow and next week?
Yeah, so I think next week is the jobs report. That's going to be the most important thing. We get ADP private sector on Wednesday. Friday, we get the non-farm payrolls. There'll be a few other things. We start getting some retail earnings, Costco earnings. I'm always fascinated by Costco because it's given like a tech valuation, but it's still like a retailer, like a Kroger kind of thing, but just cooler, I guess you could say.
They're doing okay. Every time I'm there, they're packed.
Always.
And I never spend less than $300.
There you go. And speaking
Not
of which,
intentionally.
I just got to show
It just
this.
happens.
I just got to show this chart because I think it goes to what you're saying here. I mean, it's just been an incredible run on this chart here. So let's erase these lines, flip over, and you can see it was already in a consistent uptrend. Then it kind of had some sideways chop, and then look at what we've seen here over the last couple months. So this thing just keeps going up and up. But earnings next week. Let's see if it continues.
Okay, Gareth, thank you so much. Happy Thursday, Friday Eve to you. And remember, you can watch Gareth navigate the charts ahead of the opening bell every weekday morning at 9 a.m. on his show, The Game Plan, right here on the Verified Investing YouTube channel. And thank you so much for watching Trading the Close on this Thursday. Make it a great rest of the week. We will be back on Monday.